Tim, I'm being serious. We should really use this in the, like, I should post this as just like a separate clip of us getting to, like, people will appreciate that. They appreciate candid moments. Think about it. Think about it. Tell me at the end of the interview. What happened? Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello.
Yeah.
Got you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I just I can't connect to this car. I don't know what I'm
doing. I'm wondering if when you plugged in, if that kind of did it. If that kind of like took you off of being able to hear me, but I can hear you now.
Yeah, I'm just going straight off the phone. I got the volume turned up as much as I can go and got the speaker on, but yeah, I plugged in, and as soon as I plug in, you'd lose my voice.
Gotcha. Okay. Can you? So then you can hear me? Am I okay to start or no? Should I? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You said that you're not playing anymore because you're deaf. Are you serious? Like, I had no idea.
Yeah, I'm serious. Like it's been an issue for me for quite a few years, and it got to a point where I was so frustrated trying to practice. I didn't even want to go to practice anymore. I was so frustrated, and yeah, it's really tough. I mean, it's tough. So doing a band when you got competing guitarists being very loud and just being in a tight space, all that noise, it's really tough.
So then there's no more playing for you then. Like you're literally like a retired hardcore singer.
Never say never, right? it could be ugly, it could be great if we did something, but I don't know. We've had a couple offers to play a few things, and in different forms of different bands, and it's still open. I mean, we can still do something, but like working a lot in studio or working a lot in the practice room, it's gonna be tough for me.
One thing that I've found, because I lost my hearing actually at a hardcore show. It came back. I went back to another hardcore show, and then just too much nerve damage. But one thing that I found is I was starting to get like just headaches. Like if I put like like those things they tell you to put in your ears, it just, I had headaches. And then if I was playing on stage and if I was trying to wear them, I couldn't hear the band. Were you experiencing similar things?
Yeah, so I remember going to a lot of shows early on before I even did a band, and like even like the Olympic, and just standing in front of those monster stacks, and you go home and your ears are just pinging, just ringing, and that's the sign of tinnitus. That's what that is, and that's your hearing is damaged at that point, and it just gets progressively worse.
So, how did you get into hardcore?
So I think hardcore for me was just a progression from punk rock, and punk rock for me was it was kind of a natural thing for me in music, because my older cousins who I looked up to were into it, and as early as the late 70s, 78, 79, and as a teenager I was 14, 15 years old, and those guys are, I looked up to those guys, and they listened to K-Rock, and K-Rock was pretty influential at that time. They played a lot of different stuff. And my one cousin, he was my second cousin, he got a tryout for that band No Crisis, an old LA punk rock band. and it kind of lit a fire on under me because I went to watch that tryout, and it was held at Southgate High School, and their auditorium was very old. It was a very old high school, and just the I guess the atmosphere and the ambiance, it was different, and then the music was so different for me than anything I've ever heard on the radio. I mean, K Rock was cutting edge, but they were playing bands that were about to be mainstream bands. Um, so it was I was intrigued by it. It was something different. It was I maybe I was looking for something different. I don't know, but it was just a general progression. Hardcore was a general progression from the punk rock thing. The first time I saw Black Flag, I think it was late '81, early '82, maybe at the Vex, and I was hooked. That was it. It was over for me.
Okay, so then that goes actually into what was originally my first question. What do you think your life is like if you don't get into punk, you don't get into hardcore, you don't go to that Black Flag show? What is the parallel multiverse Tim Sawyer life?
Man, that's the best question I've ever been asked in an interview. It really is. I've never ever heard anybody ask that question, and
Thank
I'm
you.
sure I would have found a different vice. Um, but man, I, it's a whole different world. I mean, I can't even think of that world now. As much as I've been through, as much as we've seen, and it's to me right now. I mean, off the cuff, that was a boring life. No matter what I was doing, I don't think anything can compete.
So, what made you think that you like, and I don't mean it like what made you think that, but what made you think or know that you could sing? And I only ask because singing isn't like playing guitar in the sense of you can turn away from the crowd, you can hide behind a wall of noise. When you're the front man, you're out in front. What made you do that? Because you had never sang in a band until you like got into this music, right?
Yeah. Well, I was too uncoordinated to play an instrument and not patient enough. So, as far as singing, I wasn't singing. I was screaming and yelling. That was easy. I was an angry guy, so that was easy for me, and that's all I thought it was. Um, I got asked to play or try out or jam with Jeff Banks and Steve Winders and my stepbrother in a garage thing, and I said, "I'll do it." I'll do it. Let's go. And so that was a starting point, and it worked. I'm not a singer; I'm a screamer, and it worked. And I tried. I don't know if anybody knows this or not. Jeff Banks knows it, and Steve Winders knows it. But when the initial break from VD to chorus for Jeff asked me to play bass, and once again, I had no patience. I tried, I worked and worked and worked, and I finally came to a point where I said, Jeff, I don't have the patience for this. I can't do it.
Well, that's interesting that you say that because one of my questions was, what were your thoughts? And we're going to jump around as we do this, but what were your thoughts when Jeff started chorus and he now is doing a band where he has a different front man? He has Isaac as the front man, and you'd been the front man in like that is your guys' thing. What were your thoughts about that? Like, were you surprised? Were you taken aback? Did you kind of see it coming?
Um, a band. I mean, you've been in bands, right? I mean, a band is a relationship. I mean, it's like a marriage. So when Jeff left, it hurt. It really hurt. Um, Anger, anger sets in. You're pissed off. Um, but Jeff was a huge, huge part of ED, and really the band was really driven off of him for musical, styling and just he really pushed the band hard. So when we lost him, it was a big loss for us, and I was angry. I know Steve was angry. I was angry. Steve and Jeff are very good friends. They're best friends growing up. So it's exactly like a relationship, and it was a breakup, and it hurt. Um, but afterwards, Steve and I both went and watched them play, multiple times. Um, and Isaac was around our band quite a bit, and Isaac was part of our group, part of our family. Um, and it was just something new and fun, and we went and enjoyed it and hung out with them and stuff. And there was, I mean, the anger thing lasted a while because it was a relationship and it was family, and it got broken up. And anybody from a broken home, it's even tenfold. I mean, Steve's mom and dad got divorced early. My mom and dad got divorced early. So I think it was pretty painful for both of us. But Chorus, I thought were a great band. I loved their stuff. I loved all the guys in the band. Great guy. Well, they had RD for a long time. Of course, Regis. I didn't know Regis really well, but I liked him. I got along with him. I thought he was a cool guy. Isaac was part of our family, like I said. So, not a big change for us when those guys started doing that band.